So our goal is to compare arithmetic, which means adding and subtracting, rational expressions. And rational, again, just means fractions. Expressions just mean like not necessarily having an equal sign, to arithmetic with rational expressions and how to rewrite those. So the difference here, let me get my pen out. Put my pen, there it is. The difference here is talking about something like this. So this is an arithmetic rational expression, and then there's also something like this. This is an arithmetic expression, or this is a rational expression with arithmetic. So they're a little different. You don't have to really know the difference of them. We're just kind of comparing these two in this lesson. All right, so let's get into it. So I hate how it gives the answer. So we want to factor these. So when we factor these, first thing we want to do is our greatest common factor. What goes into all of these? So what I can tell you right now off the back is I'm like, oh, 3 is divisible by 3 because 3 times 1 is 3. 18 is also divisible by 3 because 18 divided by 3 is 6. So I know that 3 can go into this. So I can take out a 3. That is a factor. It's not the greatest because we also can take out one of these x's. All of these have more than one x. This has 3 x's. This has 2 x's. And here's 1 x. And when I'm talking about the amount of x's, I'm not talking about the number in the front. I'm talking about that power of the x. So when I'm doing these, what I want to do is I want to take out an x also. So when I'm doing this, I want to divide. So what times 3x gives me 3x cubed? Well, that's just going to be x squared because 3x times x squared is 3x, and we have 3 x's all together. So then, oops, not the highlighter. So then I want to divide this by it. I'm factoring it out. So that's just going to be an x. And I'm going to divide this, so that's going to be negative 6 because negative 18x divided by 3x, the x's will cancel out, and I'm left with negative 3x. So from here, I know that I can factor it some more by trying it out in the box method. And if you guys don't understand the box method, you can review last week's video, or you can make an appointment with me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do length times width. So what's the length times width if my area, what I'm multiplying by, is x squared? Well, I'm just going to put x and x, and I get negative 6. What is this length? This length times this width. Now I'm going to try to make a guess here. I want to get a plus x in the middle. So if you don't get this right away, there's plenty of times that I'm erasing and trying over and over again. So I'm going to try 3x and negative 2x. The reason is negative 2x times 3x is negative 6. Oops, and I didn't mean to put x. That was my bad. There's no x's. Otherwise, this would have been x squared right here. So what's happening here is if I do 3 times x, this length times this width, I get 3x, and here I get negative 2x. X times negative 2 will give me negative 2x. That's why I accidentally put these here. I was just thinking really far ahead. And if I add these two together, that gives me negative x. So basically, if I added this area of this square, because I'm doing length times width, if I add this area, I would end up getting this. So then I can change this to 3x, x minus 2 times x plus 3. And if I look here, none of these kind of match it up, but if I switch these over, I would end up getting this as my answer. Is this making sense, guys, how to do these? Let me know if you're having trouble with it. Cool. All right. Again, if you guys are having trouble with it, we're going to get this down with practice. The last section, I think, rushed into it a lot because it's a review. Oh, Jacob, you're confused? So, Jacob, if you're thinking about this, think of it this way. We want to find the area of this rectangle, right? And what we're doing here is we're going to say that, oops, I erased too much. Minus 18. So we factored this out by taking the GCF. And then what we're doing is we're basically finding the area of this square. Well, there's 4 areas we're doing here. 4 areas total. X squared, negative 18, and we don't know what these areas are yet. We just know that these 2 areas together are going to give us this negative x, or I'm sorry, positive x. This thing right here. So what we do is we kind of try to figure out what these areas are. There's a bunch of different answers. We could have tried 9 minus times negative 2. That would have worked, but when we do this part, we would have gotten 9x. That wouldn't have worked out so well. Oh, wait, this is supposed to be a 6. That was my bad. My bad, guys. That was supposed to be a 6. So I could have tried positive 6 and negative 1 to get this negative 6. But what would have happened here is this would have been 6x, and this would have been negative x, which would not have given me that. So that's how that's happening. Why is it not negative 3 and positive 2? That's a good question. So let me show you why it's not negative 3 and positive 2. Thank you for asking that. So let's say I did negative 3 and a positive 2. What would have happened here is negative 3 times x would have been negative 3x, and then 2 times x would have been 2x. Well, if I add negative 3x plus 2x, I get negative x. Remember, I wanted that positive x? So these do not equal that positive x, because x squared plus x minus 6x. So you're right. These 2 would satisfy this, but these 2 right here, oops, these boxes would not add up to this middle number. Does that make a little more sense? So that's how come we use the box method. So that was a really good question. Thank you for asking that. Yeah, it's true. We could do negative 3 and positive 2, but it won't add up. These 2 middle boxes don't add up to our middle number right here. So let's move on from there. And again, guys, if you guys have trouble and you have a question that's specific, let me know. So moving on here, we're going to simplify rational expressions. So in order to do this, this is really easy. This first one that they give us, it's like, okay, cool. I can just cross out the x's and simplify 2 over 4. This, I can't really do anything with this. There's a plus sign. Remember PEMDAS? PEMDAS says we have to do our division first, so we can't do any division first. So we have to move on to addition subtraction. So we can't divide these before we simplify. Think of these as having little parentheses. We would have to do these parentheses before we can do all of that stuff. So that's how come this can't be, this right here can't be simplified. But guess what? If I make this something times something else, we can probably cross stuff out. So that might not make sense right now, but I'll show you in a bit. And if you ever want to know what the definitions are, you can always click these. It's an expression. So a rational expression is a ratio of two polynomials. Basically, it's a fraction with polynomials. Polynomials are anything with x and a power. A polynomial is an expression in terms. Terms, remember, are these added and subtracted things related to other addition and subtraction. So let's go on here. So what they're doing here is they are factoring out an equation and crossing it out. You cannot do that. I've covered this in my Algebra 1 class. If you guys didn't have me for Algebra 1, basically what I say is you can only cross out parentheses. That's a good way of kind of putting this. So a parentheses would cover a whole term. This can't be crossed out because x plus 5 doesn't really work out. So you want to factor these. So you can cross out these x's. Crossing out an x like this, that's okay. But you can't cross out this x right here. It doesn't work out. So just, you guys can always review this. Notice here what they're doing is they are factoring out a GCF to be able to cross out the 5. And then over here, they're kind of factoring these out so you can cross those out. So you guys can always factor out, even if it's something as simple as factoring this out into this, it'll help. I'll kind of show you guys how to do it that way for the first couple problems, but after a while, I'm going to stop doing that. So let me move on to here. So here what they're doing, you can always check out these examples for more help. They're factoring out the GCF on the top. Let me grab my laser. So on the top here, they're factoring out the GCF. And over here, they're using the box method. They don't show it, but they're using something similar to box method or the box method to do this. So because this red parts are the same, we can cross these two out. And that's how they get to this step. Is this making sense so far, guys? Example 2 is just showing they're using box method for both, and they're able to cross out the same term. So you're left with this rational expression. You can't, even though that's a plus and a minus, these are two different things, two different numbers. Because let's pretend that x was 5, and you pretended you could cross this out. Well, x plus 3 divided by 5 plus 3, 5 that. So if we're saying x is equal to 5, 8 divided by 2 is not the same thing as 1, which if you cross these out, that's exactly what you would be saying, is that it's the same thing as 1. Doesn't work. You want to make sure this works for all x's. That's how come we're not allowed to cancel stuff out randomly. This one is a little trickier. We'll talk about how to factor complicated ones like this. I know we talked about it in the last lesson, but I feel the last lesson went over this really fast. Again, if you guys have trouble with, what was it called? Polynomial structure mastery test, it was just a hard test. I feel it was unfair. So if you guys need to make an appointment with me, need to make an appointment with your IS teacher, or if you guys talk to Mr. Scott or Mr. Chris, work with them on the test. I think that one's one of the hardest tests. Here, what they're doing is they're factoring out a GCF, then using the box method to factor these out. They call it factoring a trinomial. I just say box method. It's the easiest way to factor. Here, they're factoring by grouping. What that basically means is you're going to look at the first two. We use colors. You're going to look at the first two and factor a GCF from there. And then you're going to look at the last two and factor out a GCF from there. From there, what happened is, oops, this and this are the same, so they just factored it out. And they factored it out, leaving this as these two parts. They just combined these two to make this one down here. So again, if you need help factoring by grouping, it is a tougher subject. So don't mind reaching out, making an appointment. All right, so let's get into this right here. So first, we're going to see what is the GCF of the numerator. So they're breaking it down. They're making it nice and easy here. So numerator. Numerator, again, I remember by saying north. The bottom, I say the denominator, so I call it the down. So here, I'm going to look at the numerator. So I'm going to say, I'm going to write right here. So if I have 4x minus 8, I'm going to say that is equal to 4x plus 2. I'm going to say the GCF of the numerator is 4. You don't have to write all this down. I guess you could technically write all this, but you will have to do this work up here eventually, this work up top eventually. So I just decided to do it now. Factor the quadratic. So unfortunately here, they're not letting us do a box method. So what I would do is I'm kind of cheat. So if you think about a box method, you have this 4 squares, but you also kind of have a square here, a square here, a square here, a square here, and you have kind of like this reminder square over here. So it ends up being 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 by 1, 2, 3. So it's a 4 by 3. So I'm going to kind of cheat in this by doing this, because unfortunately you can't put a picture, so I'm just going to do a 4 by 3. Oh, they have it as a 3 by 4. They do the rows first. So what I'm going to do here is you can use your arrows on your keyboard to move this around. My middle number is 3x. So my little reminder over here is 3x. This isn't what this is normally used for, by the way. I'm just kind of cheating. So this is a 3x. I am going to leave this one blank. I'll just put like Z here or something. You can leave it blank. However you want to leave it blank. This first term is our x squared. So I'm going to do x. Where's my squared? Squared. My last term. Let me solve it on here, and I'll show you guys how to do the work first, because this is weird. Always do it on paper first. It's just easier because it lets you erase a lot faster. So 3x. So a negative 10 would go here, and x squared goes here. And I want to get this 3x in the middle. So I would do x, x. I'm going to try, my middle number is positive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my bigger number positive. So I'm going to put a 5 here and a negative here. So what'll happen here is I'll get 5x and negative 2x. If I add these two together, I get the 3x. So if I wanted to show my work for this problem, what I would do is I would have to use my arrows. Mark this as x, mark this as x, mark this as x. Oops. Why did I mark this as x? That was my bad. 5. I'm going to mark this as -2. This was my -10. This is 5 times x, which is 5x. -2x. These are left blank. So my answer becomes x plus 5 times x minus 2. So that's a way you can show your work if you guys need to show your work and you don't have the picture option. I'm just going to do this from now on, but I wanted to show you guys how you can show your work. You don't have to put that exclamation point here. You could just leave it blank, I guess, if you want. All right, so now we're going to try to cancel this. So does this work? Cool, it does copy from the previous step. I'm going to copy that from the previous step. I'm going to use this. I don't like doing that stuff multiple times, so I just use Control X. Control X cuts it. If you're copying it from here, what you can do is you can do Control C. I was hoping this would be easier, but it's not. And then here, I'm going to want to copy this part. Oh, it does not let me go up that high? Oh. I'm using Shift and my arrow to copy that. I'm going to copy that down. I'm going to click, use my arrows to kind of get into there. Control V. And from here, I'm like, oh, look, I can cancel this out. Oh, wait, can't? That's a +2. Oh, that was a -2. How come none of you guys told me this was supposed to be a -2, guys? I was wondering, I was like, something's supposed to cancel out here. There we go. Now I can cancel these out. So you can see, you can always check your work too. This was my bad because 4 times -2 gives us -x. Is this making sense so far, guys? Yes, no, maybe? Write the simplified form. So my simplified form would be, make my little fraction here, 4 over x plus 5. What is the GCF in terms of numerator and denominator? Write the expression by factoring it out. Oh gosh. They want us to factor it out. So they want us to do this for both the top and the bottom. So what I would do here, oh, this one gives me, oh, thank God. This one lets you submit a picture. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna write it on here and I'm gonna submit a picture. So I'll kind of review how to do that again. So first things first, I want to do equals. I can take out a 2 from both of these. So I'm gonna, or all three of these. All three of these, I can take out a 2. So I'm going to take out that 2 and I'm going to leave it as 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. I'm just dividing everything by 2, but I'm leaving that 2 there. Here, all of these have an x. So I'm going to take out an x and I get x squared minus 7x and plus 6. All right. So they just wanted me to do the GCF for this one. So because of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my phone. Did you guys need me to go over how to submit a picture from your phone again? Or are you guys good? Do you guys know how to do that by now? Because I can show you. Give me a second. You guys want me to go over how to take a picture with your phone and how to submit it to your email? Yes or no? Sure. All right, cool. So I'll show you guys. This way you can see. I need to see the image, so I'm going to go like this. So what I'm going to do here, you guys don't need to do this part. This is just what lets me show you guys my phone. So smart view. Give me a second. It's been a while since I've done this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my camera. So I clicked on my camera. I'm going to take a picture of my work. So there's my picture. So I took a picture. I can go to my gallery. If I hit. So unfortunately, for some reason, you guys can't see the little things at the bottom. I'm gonna hit the share button. So give me a second. I need to kind of show you guys what the share button looks like. If you guys know what the share button looks like, great. But the share button kind of looks like this. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. I don't know why it's not letting me show that. But give me a second while I go back. So I'm going to hit that button. And it's going to ask me how I want to share. I'm going to choose Gmail. I'm going to email it to myself. And if you can see right there, it already has a little attachment. I know it's really small to see, but you can see that it already has a little picture. You can put a subject if you want. Hit the send button. And that's all we do with our phone. Give me a second. I'll get faster at this eventually, guys. I'm sorry. That's all we do with our phone. Then we're going to want to go to our email. I'm going to refresh this. Sometimes it takes a while because it is sending a picture. We can grab it from here, open this email. I can grab this and literally just go to the tab and move it over. Oh, so it wants me to save it first. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to do pick. I don't know why it didn't let me do it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And then what I do is I go to insert image from computer, pick, and it will upload it. So that's how you can show your work doing this. Sorry, I know that was a lot. And then boom, there's the picture of your work. If it's sideways, whatever, we as teachers can always flip that around. But it's a good way to kind of show your work. So now it wants you to factor these expressions, the numerator and this. So you're going to do two box methods. Unfortunately, it's not letting you show your work again, but I'm just going to do the box methods up top here. So I'm going to do one for the top and one for the bottom. So the top one will look like this. 2x squared, 3. My middle term is negative 7x. This, I'll put the 2x and the x because that's the only way for us to get this 2x squared. I'm going to do a... Notice how our middle number is negative, but this number is positive. Well, guess what? If you do negative 3 times negative 1, you can get a positive 3. So negative times negative is positive. So this will give you negative 6x, negative 3 times negative 2, and this will be negative x. So I did this because I already knew I wanted a 6 here and a -1 here to get that 7. If I made the mistake of putting a 1 here and a 3 here, I would have ended up getting -2 and -3, which would only give me -5. So if I did that, I would have had to erase this, which is no big deal. If you guys need to erase it and redo it, that's fine. That's the whole reason for the box method, is so we can show our work. So that's my top one. Now I'm going to do my bottom one. My bottom one, I'll do it in green. Because you guys can't take a picture, it's fine if you guys only write the answer, but you guys should be showing your work like on paper in case you need to practice it. I'll put an X right here. This is an X. This is an X. 6 here. Again, I have this problem where I'm getting this -7. So I'm going to do -6, -1. It's going to give me a -x, -6x, -6 times x is -6. If I add these two up, I get this -7. So that's how I know this is working. That's the whole reason to doing the box, is to double check these two. We know how to get this, we know how to get this, and we're just checking these. How does the 12 become a 6? Oh, you're right. Thank you, Victoria. That shouldn't have been a 6. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. That should be a 12. You are 100% correct. That should not have happened. Don't apologize for that. That was my bad. Thank you for pointing that out. So this was a 12. This was an X. So what happened here was, I think I was trying to match it up with this. I took out a 2 on the top one, so that's why I think it became a 6. That was my bad. So here I'm going to do X, X, and I want this -7x. So this is going to be a little tricky. 2 and 6 won't make a 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do -3 and -4. -3 times -4 is 12. So this will give me -3x and -4x, which if I add these two up, I will get this. So it's just lucky I was able to factor out that last one. Thank you for pointing that out. So if I write this down, I would write it down in the bottom as, so let me rewrite this first of all. Always remember you have a 2 here. So you have a 2, x minus 3, 2x minus 1. And on the bottom, we're going to have this x outside. And I'm going to have x minus 3, because that's what's here, times x minus 4. Hopefully this isn't going over your guys' head. If you guys are having trouble with it, let me know so I can explain it a little bit more. So I'm going to put this down here. So first off, I want to put a fraction. I have a 2. I have 2 sets of parentheses. And then down here, I have an x with 2 sets of parentheses. Inside the first is x minus 3. I have to use my arrows apparently. X minus 3. I really hate how they don't let you put a picture here, guys. I'm sorry about that. If it were up to me, every one of them would let you put a picture. 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1. Minus 1. Minus 1. Minus 1. And the last one is x minus 4. I hate having to use these arrows. X minus 4. So just so you guys know, if you guys are ever frustrated with it, Mentum, it's not just you. Teachers get annoyed by it too. So this is the quadratic in factored form. Then it wants us to simplify it. So we're going to cross these two out. So that'll give us x parentheses 2x minus 1. And then here we're going to get this x, x and x minus 4. Give me a second, guys. We're going to... Sorry about that, guys. So that's what we're getting here. So just do your self-evaluation. One thing I might recommend you guys talk about in your self-evaluation if you're having trouble showing your work. That would be my biggest challenge, is showing the work. Other than that, like, you just kind of do it with a paper and pencil. Is this kind of making more sense, guys? Ugh. Again, if you guys are having trouble with this, make an appointment with me or ask Scott or Mr. Chris if you guys work with them. They can help you out. It's a little challenging. And I know what's gonna make it harder is I don't have enough time. Because I know this one's gonna have to be a two-parter again, which I hate doing two-parters for you guys. I'm sorry. I only have an hour with you guys and I need to cover a lot. So let's go into here. So now we're going to do operations with these. Operations with rational expressions. And remember, guys, if the videos aren't enough, make an appointment with me. We can talk about it some more. The main idea here is it's kind of like how we did fractions before in math, where let's say we had a 1 over 3 plus let's say 2 over 5. We want to get these two to be the same. Well, when we're dealing with polynomials, what we do is we want to get these two the same. So in order to do that, we're going to factor it. And factoring it is going to lead us into stuff like this. So if we look here, this is the same. So if we wanted the lowest common multiple, so this is just comparing numbers and polynomials, I have to multiply this top one, or let me use colors here. This factors into this, and this one factors into this. So if I want to kind of sum this up, this and this are the same. That's why they're using the same color. So our lowest common factor is all of these. These repeat, so we kind of ignore this. So that's why our lowest common factor is this. Is everyone kind of understanding what's happening here? It's this idea of if we do factored form, the lowest common factor is literally everything multiplied together. Here you can see the example when they're cutting out the repeats. So I know this is a lot, guys. I'm sorry. And I know I'm going to have to do a video because it's already close to the end of class. But just remember, these videos and these class sessions are so you guys can ask questions. And the YouTube videos, comment on the YouTube videos. Put a comment like, I didn't understand this. And and I'll reply to them. So let me at least get through half of this. So right here, well, you guys can see the answer, but this answer doesn't mean anything unless you guys understand what we're doing. These sections are a lot of work. So first, I'm going to do a box for the first one, a box for the second one. We're going to break this up. So this is m squared, first term. Last term is 10. This middle term is 11m. So this becomes m, and then I want to get an 11. So I'm going to try 10 times 1. 10 times 1 gives me 10. And more importantly, 10m plus 1m is 11m. So far I have this and this. Let me do a box for the second one. M squared, negative 10. This becomes m and m. And this, we want to get this negative 10 here. So notice how the middle number is negative or positive. I'm going to change this into 9 or 9 positive 10 times negative 1. I was already trying to get this 9m here. So this will give me 10m minus 1m, or just m if you guys prefer. If you subtract this out, you get this 9m. So again, I have a repeat here of this m plus 10, and I have a negative, let me use a different color, a negative here. So that's how come it becomes m plus 1 for this one, m plus 10 for these two right here, and then this m. It's all the different ones. So that's how we do this. So see here, they're showing that if you factor it out, if you use the box method, this is a repeat, so you don't copy down your repeats. Is that making a little bit of sense on how we find the LCM? We just one of each, no repeats. So here's one, that's right there. Oops. Here's another one, that's going to be right here. And then here, this one is over here. This doesn't count because it's a repeat. So you guys can always watch the video. I'm going to fast forward it through it really fast. I have it on pause so I can just go through here. They're just factoring it out. Unfortunately, they never showed the box method. They might have shown it on one of the videos in the previous lesson. So make sure you guys are watching this if you're having a hard time doing this. But this shows how to eliminate when we're adding stuff together. So what they did was they made it the GCF, let them add it together and stuff. But watch the video for more detail. So here, I'm going to factor the bottom. So if I want to factor the bottom, I'm going to do these really quick, guys. Again, if you need help factoring these, make an appointment with me and I can show you guys how to do the box method first. If you guys are having trouble with the box method, it's going to be really hard doing the work from here on out. So this is x. I'm going to put negative 2, 1 here. Again, if you guys can't do it this fast, it's fine. Take your time when you're doing it at home. That gives me this. So right off the back, I know that it's x minus 2 times x plus 1. These two would cancel out. This x plus 1 would cancel out with this x plus 1. If I do a box method for this other one, I'm going to go into x squared. I put a negative 3x here as my goal. This is a 2. This is x. I'm going to do negative 2 times negative 1. The two negatives will give me a positive. Negative 2x, negative 1x. That'll give me this negative 3x. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this x minus 1 and then this x minus 2. Nothing really cancels out here, unfortunately. So this will end up being my GCF. Oops. One of these, and one of these. And that's how you can see that the answer turned into this. This one is a lot more complicated. You basically can't factor these out. So let me try to get into this before we have to rush. So the rest of the video, I'll finish this slide, guys, but the rest is going to be a video that I'll upload like tonight or something. So try to at least get this part done on your own. I know this is a rough lesson. Remember I told you this does pick up really fast. So again, try to make an appointment with me if you can. So this, I honestly have no idea how they got to this point where they canceled this out, because this doesn't factor nicely. The reason why I know this is we have to somehow get 0 here. So this is x and x. The only way to get 29 would be to do negative 29 and 1. That's the only way to get 29. You can't factor this out any other way. So somehow they got rid of this. Let's find out how they did it. So I'm going to do a box method for the bottom. The box method for the bottom is this x squared negative 6 x. I want a positive x here. So my biggest number I want to be positive. Because this is a positive, I want my biggest number to be positive. So I'm going to do 3. I was going to do 6 and 1, but that wouldn't make sense. I'm going to do a positive 3 and a negative 2. That's going to get me this 3x minus 2x. So this works. So I'm going to do x squared minus 29 over x plus 3, x minus 2. Now I'm going to break this up. So this is a GCF. So that's really easy to break up. That's 4. I can take out a 4 from both of these. And I get x minus 4. And then on the bottom here, I'm going to make another box. So this is another box. This right here is x squared. My reminder is at negative x. Oops. I drew that box too close to the thing. So this is x squared. Negative x goes here. Negative 12 goes here. X. This time, my x is negative. So I want my bigger number to be negative 4, and 3. This gives me negative 4x, 3x. We add these up. We get that negative x. So this turns into x minus 4, x plus 3. So from here, what we're going to do is I can cancel these two out. And what happens now is this turns into, I want to make these my, have the lowest common multiple. So I already have a duplicate here. So the only thing I need to change is this over here needs an x minus 2. So I'm going to multiply the top by x minus 2, and I need to multiply the bottom by x minus 2 also. So I'm basically just multiplying this top and bottom. So this becomes, I'm going to erase this. You guys can always rewind on the video later if you guys didn't write this down for your notes. So here, what I'm going to end up getting is I get x squared minus 29 over x plus 3, x minus 2, a minus sign here. This becomes 4x minus 2, x plus 3, x minus 2. Now this allows me to do something special. I can distribute here, and since these two are the same now, I'm going to do two steps. I'm going to distribute and combine these. So this becomes x squared minus 29. If I distribute this negative 4, I'm going to pretend this negative goes with that. I get negative 4x plus 8, because negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. This is all over x plus 3, x minus 2. I can do my like terms. So this becomes x squared minus 4x minus 21. These two combined gives us negative 21. I get this x plus 3, x minus 2. And I know we're running out of time, guys. And I know you guys have appointments. So you can see the work right here as well. Here's the part where I'm distributing. Oh, they canceled them out. But you guys can always rewind to this if you guys need help with it. This will cancel out. I already did that part. And then here's the part where I'm at. I'm sorry, I messed up. This is the part where I'm at. So that makes this negative 4, negative 8. And that's this part right here where I'm at. So you can see the work. That's why I don't like their explanations. They skip a lot of steps. So this is what I get here. If I do a box method, it'll probably be something like this. And let me show you why that works. Let me do this really quick, guys. And then if you haven't answered the question yet, it's what is your favorite movie? So make sure to answer that to get credit for attendance. What is your favorite movie? This is x squared minus 21, negative 4x. So I want my biggest number to be negative. So I'm going to do negative 7 times positive 3. That gets me negative 21. Negative 7x, 3x. That gives me that. I know I'm rushing. I'm sorry, guys. These slides are really long. I might have to end up splitting these. I need to talk to teachers to find out. So here, what's happening is I get this. And this would turn into this. And from here, I can cancel these out. The boy in striped pajamas. That's a sad one. All right, guys. So I'm going to talk to the teachers about splitting these into 2 weeks. So we're going to have to we might have to change the schedule a little bit just because I know that Algebra 2 is a tough topic. So I want you guys to try to focus on catching up, keeping this part in. I'll let you guys know if we're going to do the next part as a video or in class next week. But answer the question. Thank you, guys. And I'll let you guys know. I know I'm rushing through this.